Thank you very much. I want to thank the organizers of this event for inviting women from diverse communities and backgrounds, and recognizing that women have many different identities and we come from many different experiences, lives, and journeys and struggles. As a transgender woman in this province, living authentically does come at a cost. But like many of you, the cost of not being true to oneself is much greater. As I've struggled through my own journey as a woman, there is still so much I will never understand. I could never understand the struggle of a woman of color. I could never understand the struggle of an Indigenous woman who has survived residential schools and grieves every night wondering if the missing women from her family are among the other murdered Indigenous women in this country. I will never understand what it is like to give birth to a child, but I do understand the struggle of the profound grief one feels when your child dies in your arms. I will never understand the intense struggle of a woman who has to escape the violence of war and travel across the world in hopes of giving her children a better life. I could not understand the struggle of a woman who is a victim of sexual violence. I will never understand the struggle of a Muslim woman who wears a burqa and receives the looks and stares and hurtful words as she buys groceries for her family. I do understand what it's like to hold my female partner's hand in public and wonder how some people will react. I've never had to understand what it's like to be a homeless woman or have to sell my body in the sex trade just to get my next meal. I look across this crowd and I know we will never understand each other's struggles. But I know that your struggle, just like mine, was hard, at times unbearable, but very, very real. Our struggles do not make us any more or any less a woman, but they do make us human. Our struggles have taught us how to live with compassion and empathy. Our struggles have taught us resilience. Our collective struggle has brought us here together and have given us the strength to fight harder for a world that is fair and just, a better world for our daughters and our children of all genders. We are united in a never-ending fight for our basic human rights and freedoms, and we must continue to fight. Because we are being tested as much today as we have ever been. We have seen a government elected in the United States that would sooner focus on nationalist protectionism rather than embrace the power of diversity. We hear the words of many conservative politicians in our own province who would sooner focus on corporate power rather than dealing with social issues like protecting our LGBTQ children and their right to form a GSA. We hear the words of those campaigning to be leaders of the Conservative Party of Canada who wish to redefine the term Canadian values to be one of intolerance and fear. Shame indeed, rather than the definition of a Canada that is welcoming and accepting, a beacon of hope to people who suffer injustices all over the world. We have senators and Conservative Party leadership candidates who use their transphobia to spread fear of people like me in their fight against Bill C-16 and the basic human rights of transgender Canadians, a life free of indignity and discrimination and violence. But guess what? Bill C-16 passed second reading in the Senate this week. And reminding me once again that Canada, I know, doesn't give in to fear and intolerance and bigotry. Our struggles may have been different, but our fight is the same, and we must stand together. We must stand together against misogyny and sexism, racism, xenophobia, homophobia, and transphobia. We must stand together and say no to violence against our sisters, our mothers, and our daughters. We must stand together against war and oppression. We must stand together against poverty and inequality. We must stand together and recognize that we are all treaty people and demand justice for the murdered and missing Indigenous women of Canada. We must always stand for the rights we have over our bodies and our identities.
Hell yeah!
We must stand against hate, intolerance, and fear. We must stand together and fight for our planet. We must fight harder than ever for true equality and justice in this country and around the world.
Yes.
We need more women in politics. Run for office yourself or support many amazing women candidates. Let's get more than one woman on our city council. Let's support progressive Catholics to change the face of the Edmonton Catholic School Board and ensure schools are safe for all students. Finally, we must fight to remind each other every single day that we are women, we are united, we are strong, we are resilient, and we are fierce, and we will not be defeated.
United, we'll never be defeated. The women, united.